Hi everybody, it's Miss Jenny with Johnson's Dance Studio. And for my special dancers who are still working on strengthening their feet, or if you're in our pre-point classes, or if you are some of our advanced dancers and you are in our point classes, we're just bringing you some exercises that are going to be great to strengthen your feet. Maybe while you're not dancing quite as much right now, we want to keep your feet strong, your ankles strong. So we're going to go through about the next 15 minutes with some different exercises that you can do, especially that you can do at home. And even if you're able to do them once a day, they'll be great to help strengthen your feet. This is just the first of several exercises or several videos that we will bring to you for this purpose over the next week, couple of weeks, however long we're on break. So stay tuned for more videos, but this will be a great way to get you started. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna warm the bottom of your feet up a little bit. Grab that golf ball that if you've been in a class with me, you have one or should have one at home. If you don't have one that you got from me, maybe you can find a golf ball laying around. If you can't find a golf ball, anything that is smaller than a tennis ball will be great for you to use. There are foot rollers out there too, that if you have one, this is great. If you have a lacrosse ball or something that's just slightly bigger than this golf ball, feel free to grab that. We're gonna put it underneath our feet. So we're gonna step back so you can see my feet right now. I'm gonna put it underneath the arch of my foot. So putting a little bit of weight into my foot. Make sure that you do have a little weight in there so that you are able to break up the fascia. We're gonna start around our toes. So if you can see the bottom of my foot, they're actually right underneath my metatarsals, or the top of my metatarsals. Right where your metatarsals start to meet your, what we call the phalanges, your toes. So starting with the big toe, just put a little extra pressure in there, and you're not gonna roll the ball around. You're just gonna push down into the ball. Especially if you hit a part of your foot at any point during this that is a little more sore than the others, hold that pressure there for just an extra second or two to help break up that tissue, that fascia that makes our feet so tight. So moving on to your second toe, again, pushing down. You wanna hold about 5 seconds to 10 seconds for each one. I'm gonna move down to the third toe. And again, pushing pressure down into that foot. This feels particularly good, so I'm putting a little extra pressure in there right now. And then moving to that fourth toe, again, same thing. Make sure you have something to hold on to if you feel unstable during this at any point. And then finally moving down to that pinky toe. Now this one might be a little harder to get. You're right on the outside of your foot. And again, make sure you put a little extra weight into it. After you've reached that point, make sure the ball goes underneath the arch of your foot. And that same thing, put a little pressure on the ball so that you can feel that tissue. Like, this is a little extra sore for me. So I know that I need to hold it there a little bit longer, a little extra pressure to make sure that I'm really breaking up that tissue. And then you can start to roll the ball around just a little bit in this area. I'm gonna exaggerate the roll just slightly so you can see which way to roll your foot. You can roll either way, just whichever feels best to your tissues. Make sure then to change the point of your foot again, of which point's on the ball. I'm gonna move the outside of my foot onto the ball and roll it around as well. Again, this alone can take you about 5 minutes to do it right. Make sure you've done both feet before moving on to the next part of this video. Get a good roll around, and then finally, before you sit down, make sure you get the heel of your foot. My ball's rolling away. Make sure you get the heel of your foot, and again, push down into that ball. Really try to feel those tissues, work all the way through your whole foot. All parts of your foot are what you're going for here. So work down into that ball. Okay, so we're gonna pretend like we've done the other foot, and we're gonna move on and have a seat, and we're gonna grab our TheraBand. So if you have a TheraBand at home, that's what we're looking for. I'm gonna move the mat back just a little bit so that you can see my feet a little bit better. Okay, so we're gonna grab that TheraBand, take your TheraBand, and it can be whichever strength is best for you. So we're talking about, this is probably like this is a little bit of like a medium strength. If you feel super, super strong and you want to, or if you progress and you want to change the strength of your band to a stronger strength, go for it. If you're just starting out, I would recommend a light strength or even a medium strength as you start these exercises if you've never done them before. So this is all about not so much the strength that you're using, but about working the muscles in our ankle and our feet and our calves. So grab the band that you have. Again, I'd rather see you start with a lower strength than a higher strength, because if your ankle is not strong enough, if your feet are not strong enough and they get worn out quickly, then we could be training muscles in the wrong way. So start with the weaker strength just as you get to going and feel out where you need to be. Okay, so we're gonna take our band and we're gonna wrap it around the part of your foot where the ball of your foot. And we're going to bring the band and we're going to just stretch our legs straight out in front of us. So I hope you guys can see from there. If you can get the band to cover the top of your foot, great. If not, it still works. Nothing you have to change there. So you're gonna give a light pressure and pull on the band. We're gonna start with a nice flexed foot. Your other leg is just relaxed. Make sure you're sitting up tall, belly in, so that your core is supporting you during this time. We're gonna point through our foot all the way through and then pull it back to flex. And we're gonna do this 10 times on this foot. So you have a 1 and 2 and 3. Make sure you're keeping that pull on the band. And 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, and last one, 10. Now remember, if you've had a class with me, you know one of the best ways to make sure that you're not sickling your foot, which is extremely important here, is to make sure that this part of your foot is in line or slightly in line with your ankle bone, the inside of your ankle bone. If it is to the inside, so if it is this direction and your toes are pulling to the inside of your ankle, that is a sickled foot. That is not the direction we want to go. So make sure you're checking that. Make sure it's in line for every single time you point your foot. Okay, so if I can show you, this is the way we're trying to go here. This is a no-no. This is where you want your pointed foot. This is a sickle foot. Okay, great. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna point that foot, and now we're just gonna focus on your toes. So we're gonna keep the legs stretched, keep the ankle pointed, keep the band pulled taut so that it's a nice strong resistance that you're getting. We're gonna just flex the toes. That's the only thing that's moving, and we're gonna do the 15 of those. 3 and a 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and 15. Great job. You're gonna relax the band, pull it off of your foot. Now we're gonna pull this leg to a nice bent angle. Take your band again, bring it around the ball of your foot once more. You guys know I have a particularly long band for the progressing ballet technique style. So if your band's not this long, you don't have quite the tail to whip around. It could just be more fun, right? So put the band around the ball of your foot. We're gonna keep this knee at a bent angle. So now we're gonna take our foot, keeping it nice and flexed. You're gonna actually take your foot down, tapping the ball of your foot to the floor, flexing it back up. So this is targeting those calf muscles, those ankle muscles that are so important in all the work you're doing. So we're gonna do 10 of those. This is 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. So from here, now we are going to actually curl our toes slightly. So it's not gonna be exactly like a point. And we talk about in class that we don't want you to curl your toes with your tendus and whatnot. This is just for this exercise. You're gonna curl your toes and you are bending or you are pointing your ankle to the point that your toes touch, and then they lift back up. So we're touching the toes to the floor, back up, and your heel never moves from where it's at. This is 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And for me, where I feel this is on the lateral side of my calf. So that's a great exercise for that part of your leg. It's super important to get all parts of your calf involved here. So the next exercise we're moving on to, again, is just 10 repetitions. You are actually going to push through your heel of your foot, roll all the way down, and then back up. So pushing all the way down to a flat foot, pushing back up, and rolling down 3, and up, and 4, and up, 5, and up, 6, and up, 7, up, 8, up, and 9, and 10. Beautiful. Now from there, we're going to continue on with that exercise, but we're going to change the way we're bringing our foot up. So push that foot all the way down, then curl the toes to come back to a flex position. So roll down, curl the toes to come back. 3, and 4. And for those of you that have had class with me, think about picking up that pencil with those toes and then laying that pencil back down, pick it back up again. Lay that pencil down, pick it up. This is 8 and 9 and 10. Good. Now we're going to reverse it. So we're going to push those toes all the way down, flatten out the foot as much as you can, and flex, let your toes lead you back up. So pointing those toes down, flex, and lift the toes up. And 3, and 4. Really think if this is your foot going down and up like a wave. And 5, and 6, and 7. Sorry, the hand thing was just fun. And 8, and 9, and one more, 10. Good job. All right. So stretch that foot back out for me. Take that band off for just a minute. We're going to work on the outside of our calves, outside of our ankles. We're going to be slightly winging our foot. So you're going to take the band around the ball of your foot, again, so that it's covering the toes. We're going to stretch and point that leg all the way down. And then we're going to take our opposite foot and push on the band. So I'm going to turn my feet to face you slightly so that you can see. I have this leg pointed completely straight, ankle all the way pointed, foot all the way pointed. I take my opposite leg and push on the band. If you would like to provide a little less resistance on the band, bend this knee slightly and continue to pull on the band on the outside of your leg. It will still provide a lot of resistance. If you would like to increase the resistance without changing the strength of your band, stretch that leg all the way out so that both legs are straight and pull on this band just a little bit more. So with I'm gonna bend my knee just a little bit, and pointing through that foot, we're gonna wing 10 times, wing your foot 10 times. So it's your pinky toe that's going outside your leg. So think onto or type away from your leg. So you're going wing and in, 2 and in, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Good job. All right, keeping that foot, the band around your foot and around the ball of your foot, maybe around your toes. You're going to now take this leg, cross it over, and again, point through that foot again. Now this time we're going to sickle our foot, and yes, we are doing it on purpose. This is one of those few times that your teacher's gonna tell you to sickle your foot. So we're taking that pointed foot, push a little more on the band, pull a little bit more on the band, pushing with your foot, pulling with your arms and your hands, and we're going to sickle our foot. So we're bringing that big toe into the center. 2, again, 3 times. 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. Good job. And release that band. Take the band again one more time. Readjust if you need to. I need to readjust mine. Point your foot. We're going to take the band, and if you can, bring it around your back. If not, just point that foot, push it one more time to give it a nice pull, and reach forward, pushing down on the top of your arch. So, especially for those of you that don't have a foot stretcher at home, this is a great way to stretch through the front of your foot, through the front of your ankle, and through the front of your shin. So make sure that you take your hand, very gently press down on the top of your foot. I'm still pressing into the band with my opposite foot to provide a lot of resistance. I'm gonna turn slightly so that you can see this stretch. It's a great stretch to hold for about 20 seconds and get a nice stretch through the top of your foot. So again, I took my fingers, slightly press down on the very top of your foot, not even your toes, it's the top of your metatarsals that you're pushing down on. I like to push down on right in line with my big toe and my second toe so that I know it's staying in line and I'm not sickling my foot. So again, it's a great stretch to hold for 20 seconds. And then once you're done, lift up, release your foot, and slowly let your foot out of that band, and we will go to the other side. So doing this all over again. With our left foot, we are going to take the band around the ball of our foot. Stretch that foot straight out in front of you. Again, this other leg that's just kind of hanging here, bend it in and sit up nice and tall, keeping your core engaged. And we start with 10 of the flex and point. So we point and flex, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Good job. Now we flex all the way down, point those toes, and now we're just working with the toes. So we're keeping this leg completely straight, everything completely engaged, ankle completely pointed, and we flex the toes up, point them down, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. We're doing 15 of these, and this is 7, and 8, 9, and 10, and 11, and 12, and 13, and 14, and 15. And hopefully the outside of your calf is burning every bit as much as mine is. So flex that foot. This time we're going to bend the knee in slightly, keeping our foot nice and flexed. And if you need more resistance, you can take the band around your back, or you can just pull a little bit more. Or you can pull closer to your foot. We're going to tap, just working the ankle, we're going to tap our foot, the ball of our foot to the floor, and lift. And 2, and 3, 4, and 5, and 6, 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Great job. Now curl those toes, and we're tapping our toes to the floor and bringing them back up. 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Great job. Now we're going to push all the way through our foot. Again, 10 more of these. You're rolling all the way down to a nice flat foot and rolling back up. Roll it down, flatten out your toes, roll it back up. And as you do this, think of those nice long toes, because the band's going to try to pull those toes in. So think of those toes as nice and long. Don't let your heel move from where it's at. And you have 6, and 7, and 8. And it's a great idea to keep your focus on your ankle and your big toe as you do this exercise. 9 and 10 to make sure that you are not sickling at any point in this exercise or this next one, which is to flex down and curl those toes up. Take it down and roll it up. And 3 and 4, keeping those toes curled as long as possible. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. You're almost there. Really think about picking that pencil up with those toes. 9 and 10. Good job. Now we reverse it. So the toes go down first, flatten them out, and flex up. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7 and 8 and 9 and one more, 10. Great job, everybody. Okay, take that band, stretch that leg back out, make sure you point through that foot. Now we're moving on to that next set of exercises where we wing and sickle. So we're going to take our opposite foot and push down into the band to provide a little bit of side resistance. Point your ankle, make sure you've got that nice stretch leg, and we're gonna wing our foot. We have a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and depending on the strength of that part of your foot may only move like half an inch, if even that. 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Good job. Now we're gonna take that band, again, point through that foot, take this opposite leg, cross it over to provide resistance on this side, point through that foot, and now we sickle our foot. So we're going to bring it in and 2. That last one was a wing exercise. This one is a sickling exercise to hit the other part of your ankle, strengthen the other muscles involved. 5 and 6. I'm going to interrupt for just a moment and turn to face you one more time so that you can see this exercise. And we had 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Very nice. And release that band for just a moment. Make sure you got the band covering your toes again. Flex that foot, point down and through. Take the band, step on it with your other leg to provide that extra resistance. Really pull nice and taut. Point through that foot and take your hand and push down into the top of your foot. Into the top of your foot to help stretch through the top of your foot, the top of your ankle, and through the top of your shin. So give it a nice slight push, again, on the top of your foot, not your toes. Really aim for the top of your foot. Again, I like to place my fingers right between my big toe and my second toe and give it a little extra push and resistance for 20 seconds. This is great, especially if you don't have a foot stretcher. And even if you do, this is a nicer way to make sure that you're not sickling your foot in that stretcher. So this is a great exercise again. Make sure you hold it for a good 20 seconds. It's not so much about a stretch through the back of your leg, it's more about the front of your lower leg, like right in front of your shin, and the top of your foot. So again, make sure you hold that nice and straight and give a little bit of resistance to help push down there. All right, everybody, good job. Release that band. Okay, so in the coming weeks, you guys, we're gonna do several other foot strengthening exercises that are great for point work. They're great for just strengthening your ankles in general. So especially if you're someone that when you do adagios in the center, your foot wobbles back and forth and back and forth, these will be great exercises for you. Some of the things that you'll need for the next exercise will be, you can have a yoga mat, and always have your TheraBand and your golf ball on hand. We will also be using those tennis balls that you've come to be very familiar with. And then the last thing will be either a balance disc, if you have one, or just a towel. And we're gonna put that towel on top of this yoga mat and it'll be a great stabilizer for you in terms of strengthening that ankle. So look for those exercises to come. Enjoy the exercises in this video. If you have a chance to do them once a day, that's wonderful. Your ankles and your feet will definitely thank you for it. But try to get them in as much as you can while you're not dancing to keep those ankles nice and strong. Let us know if you have any questions. Make sure you like and subscribe to JDS on YouTube, and let us know how you're enjoying these dance videos. Thank you all. We miss you very much, and we hope you're staying safe and healthy.